Premiere just completely reset all of their color tools with color mode, which is big enough to be its own application. They say it's better than nodes, faster than layers, but to be honest, at first, I was not a fan. But then, I loved it. Inside Premiere, you will now see we have this color tab, which takes us to the new color mode. Off the bat, I love how they prioritize the image. You have the program monitor nice and big here. Then our clip grid. This is a visual representation of the timeline with great sorting options. I can leave it to follow my timeline or set to clip timecode or date created. So if I have a bunch of similar clips, I can get those lined up to work with as a group very easily. Plus, a bunch of helpful filters are here as well. Then obviously, we have the main event, the color controls, and this is an entirely new way to work with color on your clips. I've never graded like this before, and that really is the entire reason I wasn't a fan at first. But here's where it sold me. We have this clip, which I love this shot, very colorful, but bland as is. So the first thing I'm gonna do is click into contrast, and right away you'll notice this HUD that just popped up. It's showing me a waveform and a pivot indicator for contrast specifically. But this is contextual. Every tool that I jump to, the HUD shifts to show me exactly what that tool is doing, with scopes, numeric info from the controls, and real-time overlays that are unique for every tool. So I'm not on a slider. Moving my mouse left and right shifts my pivot, and up and down changes the intensity. And it sounds weird, but you kind of just move your mouse around until you land somewhere you're happy with. Less technical and way more taste-driven. Next, I'll shift to exposure, and we have our specific HUD here. I'll pull that up a bit. Then I want to isolate my shadows, and this is where zones come in. Color mode is auto-analyzing my image and creating tonal zones, up to 3 highlight zones and 3 shadow zones in every adjustment. So I'll pull those shadows down, then the highs down a touch too, then the overall up a bit more, then I'll boost my saturation just a touch as well. We also have balance here, which is great for pushing an overall tone or driving color specifically into the shadows or highlights. There's a lot to say about the simplicity of this workflow and the speed at which you can arrive at a solid image. And that's what I've been responding to the most. For me, this isn't a pro color tool for colorists, it's a pro color tool for editors, and I love that. But this image is far from finished, so next I'll jump to color shift. And what's cool here is color mode extracted the dominant hues from this image automatically. I have these auto-sampled swatches, so I click the hue that I want to shift, adjust, and that's it. I'm not digging through a color wheel trying to isolate a range. It already did that for me. We also have the new detail area here with the world's first sharpness and texture heads-up display, which is insanely useful to have. I can actually see what I'm doing now when it comes to adding texture or sharpness. Well, let's move on and add another operation. And this is the grade management system here. An operation can host an adjustment, a style, or a LUT. And I can stack as many of these as I want at the clip level, group level, or sequence level. And I can drag and drop these between clips. For instance, I've been working on a clip adjustment so far, which I could drag and drop onto another clip if I want. Or I can select a grouping of clips. And when I add an adjustment, it automatically makes that a group adjustment. So this is now controlling the look of all of these shots. And finally, I can make a sequence adjustment here, and this will affect everything in the timeline. But on this new operation, I'll add a clip adjustment and put an object mask on it to single out our subject. Track that, and then do a little more to bring her out. Then I'll add another adjustment with another mask, this one just for her eyes to bring those out as well, getting us a better balance overall. And Premiere's masking tools, especially the object mask tool, combined with the color mode, really does make this a powerhouse for grading. Using these two together was another massive selling moment for me, maybe the biggest one of all. But to head toward my final look, I'll add a style here. Now, styles aren't filters and they aren't LUTs. They're pre-made collections of modules. And modules are all these individual color effects, like film color, contrast kit, flare. These are all modules. So I could select a style and fine tune or build my own from scratch with all these available modules. And they tell me a vignette module is coming very soon with even more exciting modules after that. And where I normally hate pre-made styles, these pre-made styles are really solid. Lots of great options depending on your shot. I'll choose this one as my starting point, for instance. And if I don't like how much it's killing my color, like here, I'll open up the modules inside this style and I can see exactly what's doing what. I'll bring the color back here, push the exposure up a bit, and if I toggle this on and off, we can see how much it's doing to get us toward a cinematic style. I'm also loving these film stock options. They all feel genuinely filmic, which is rarely the case with this sort of thing. Plus, having the negative and print option gives you a lot of variation to play with. Now, normally I'd want my style on the whole sequence, then I'd make adjustments to groups and clips after that, but I built it on a clip. No worries, I can just drag and drop it over to a sequence or back to the clip or select a bunch of of clips and make a group style, or copy paste almost anything to anything else. It's kind of insane how much copy paste functionality the Premiere team put into this thing. We can also jump to comparison view to see how far we've taken it, or select another clip to compare it against. And we can shift what frame our reference is on by clicking and dragging here. But again, we've gone from this to this without a single LUT. But of course you can use LUTs if you'd like, which I did with this shot here. You add it just like you do any of the others, then you can select your LUT, your color space, and adjust intensity. Now, if I want, I can come back to my edit and see my color mode controls right here in the properties panel as a slider. So if I need to make a quick tweak, I have that option to do right here. But that's it, I have a killer final image in an insanely short amount of time. And honestly, that's been the best part of this, how fast I'm able to get to where I want to go and move on to the next. And it's not fast and good enough. It's fast and better than what I was getting before. And it's more fun. This creativity and taste forward approach makes a lot of sense. Overall, I was skeptical in the beginning. I'm just being honest, but the first time I used it, I rejected it, kind of hated it. But now I genuinely love it. And every time I use it, I love it a little bit more. I think the team has made something really unique and special here. And whenever I think I found something that it can't do that it should be able to, I end up finding it in here and in more intuitive and freeing ways than I'm used to. It really is an entirely new way to think about and work with color. But what do you think? Let us know in the comments below. And we did really just skim the surface of what this thing can do. There's so much more, especially with modules like Film Color. So if you'd like a longer deep dive in color grading for editors, let us know below as well. And don't forget to like and subscribe, but if you do forget, fatty fish, blueberries, and spinach are great for cognitive health.